Evening viewer, welcome to our Glory Globe TV. Yes, today is our second episode regarding the God. Science is unable to tell us what or who caused the universe to begin, but some believe it clearly points to a creator. British theorist Edward Milne wrote a mathematical treatise on relativity which concluded by saying, as to the first cause of the universe in the context of expansion, that is left for the reader to insert, but our picture is incomplete without him. Another British scientist, Edmund Whittaker, attributed the beginning of our universe to divine will constituting nature from nothingness. Many scientists were struck by the parallel of a one-time creation event from nothing with the biblical creation accounts in Genesis 1:1. Prior to this discovery, many scientists regarded the biblical account of creation from nothing as unscientific. Although he called himself an agnostic, Jastrow was compelled by the evidence to admit. Now we see how the astronomical evidence relates to a biblical view of the origin of the world. Another agnostic, George Smoot, the Nobel Prize-winning scientist in charge of the COPE experiment, also admits to the parallel. There is no doubt that a parallel exists between the Big Bang as an event and the Christian notion of creation from nothing. Scientists who used to scoff at the Bible as a book of fairy tales are now admitting that the biblical concept of creation from nothing has been right all along. Cosmologists who specialize in the study of the universe and its origin soon realized that a chance cosmic explosion could never bring about life any more than a nuclear bomb would, unless it was precisely engineered to do so, and that meant a designer must have planned it. They began using words like super intellect, creator, and even supreme being to describe this designer. Let's look at why. Physicists calculated that for life to exist, gravity and the other forces of nature needed to be just right, or our universe could not exist. Had the expansion rate been slightly weaker, gravity would have pulled all matter back into a big crunch. We are not talking about merely a 1 or 2% reduction in the universe expansion rate. Stephen Hawking writes, if the rate of expansion 1 second after the Big Bang had been smaller by even 1 part in 100,000 million, the universe would have collapsed before it ever reached its present size. On the flip side, if the expansion rate had been a mere fraction greater than it was, galaxies, stars, and planets could never have formed, and we would not be there. And for life to exist, the condition in our solar system and planet also need to be just right. For example, we all realize that without an atmosphere of oxygen, none of us would be able to breathe. And without oxygen, water could not exist. Without water, there would be no rainfall for our crops. Other elements such as hydrogen, nitrogen, sodium, carbon, calcium, and phosphorus are also essential for life. But that alone is not all that is needed for life to exist. The size, temperature, relative proximity, and chemical makeup of our planet, sun, and moon also need to be just right. And there are dozens of other conditions that needed to be exquisitely fine-tuned, or we would not be here to think about it. Scientists who believe in God may have expected such fine-tuning, but atheists and agnostics were unable to explain the remarkable coincidence. Theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking, an agnostic, writes, the remarkable fact is that the values of these numbers seem to have been very finely adjusted to make possible the development of life. Beyond Report, Globe TV, Delhi, India.